Former Ennis Councillor Brian Meaney has put forward an interesting, some might say provocative idea aimed at slowing the decline of Irish pubs. He believes a modest charge for filtered tap water could help recognise the real costs of running a pub, reduce reliance on heavily marketed zero alcohol products and protect the pub's role as a vital social hub in Irish communities. And Brian Meaney joins us now on the line to explain his thinking. Brian, thanks very much for joining us. Good to hear from you again.
Yeah, well, good morning, Alan. How are you? Happy New Year to you and all your listeners.
Same to yourself. This is an interesting idea, and I'm sure publicans around Clare and the rest of the country are all ears for this, because any and all ideas welcome to revive the pubs. Your proposal... tell us more about how you came up with this idea to charge for filtered tap water.
Some publicans are doing this already, and there is a certain amount of gnarling of teeth and resentment at the very controversial issue of charging for water. But you have to stand back and look at the bigger picture here. And the bigger picture here is that we have begun to understand the importance of the pub in Ireland as a place for people to get together offline and interact with each other without fear or favour to anyone. I think it's the importance of the pub in Irish social culture has been recognised, and it has been in decline for the last number of years. Now, pubs are businesses and they have to wash their face, essentially. And the options, if people want to go for a zero alcohol drink, generally are what the breweries provide, but there is one on tap in every pub, and I believe there should be a general agreement that a small charge to allow for the publican to enjoy the margin he gets when he sells a pint of whatever the breweries offer, that he should be able to have that margin as well for a glass of water or a pint of water.
It's an interesting idea, Brian. As you say, some pubs have already rolled this out, charging for filtered tap water. And I'm sure you've heard this particular point of view, and I've no doubt we might hear from some of the listeners on this, that part of why people are staying away from pubs is the cost, cost of living, but increased costs of a pint or a drink is keeping them away from the pub. And then they'll say, if you can't even get a free glass of water, that free access to free water in pubs is a public good and a health issue, that's actually another reason to stay away from the pub if you can't even get a free glass of water. How do you respond to that concern?
You have to weigh up the public good of the service that a pub provides to a community. We've seen across Ireland over the last number of months communities coming together to try and purchase and save the last pub in their community, because they understand that it is a place for people to interact. I often think of the saying by, there's a quotation attributed to John B. Keane, that weddings are an unhealthy mix of generations. But my experience of the pub is that the pub is a healthy mix of generations. People get to interact with people in the community they generally don't interact with, see and make conversation a place for people who are somewhat perhaps lonely to go and interact with people. And it's very difficult to put a value on those issues. But I think if people begin to understand that the pub as a business has to be able to make a profit, has to be able to sustain itself, pay rates, pay the various bills that has with running a business.
And I suppose, and that's a fair enough point, Brian. And I guess, do you feel not enough people, when they think of the pub, they just think of it as somewhere to go to drink, and if as I say, the costs are increasing, that'll deter them from going there. But not enough people are thinking of pubs as vital social hubs.
Yeah, I think people need to reconsider what the pub is, and it is a vital social hub. You look at the pub is used as a device in various soap operas to allow people from the various strata in the soap operas to mix. If you think of The Rover's Return or the pub in Fair City, you can see how they're used to allow people to interact. And it's no different in the community. A pub has a function, and that function, I think, with the demise of the reduction in the number of pubs across the country, people are beginning to understand that. And they should understand that there is a need, that anything that can be done to maintain the viability of the local pub is important.
Okay, can I ask you about zero alcohol products? You're critical of their growing dominance. Do you believe breweries are undermining pubs by heavily marketing drinks that, I guess, are mostly water?
Well, I don't believe it's in the best interest of breweries to undermine pubs. That is how they sell a lot of their product. So I don't think that's happening. But when you do look at the zero alcohol options, you're looking at essentially a product that is 99% water, perhaps with some flavourings, and you're paying a premium for that. Not only are you paying a premium, but you'll be paying that plus the cost of the wholesale cost that the publican has to pay. Plus, what's written into that is the cost of the marketing and advertising that the pubs engage with to try and get these products sold. So ultimately, it's the customer that has to pay. Ultimately, it's the person who is buying the product has to pay.
Can I put it to you? Can I put it to you on that, Brian? You know, and I'm speaking as someone who, if I want to meet up with friends at the pub and if it's midweek, for example, and you have to drive in to meet them, to do that, it's nice to have the option of having, and I have drank 0% alcohol, and to be honest, I would prefer that than a glass of water, even if, as you say, it's the zero alcohol drinks are mostly water with flavourings. But I like that feeling of having a pint with your friends, but you're not actually drinking an alcoholic pint.
That's okay. That's your preference. There's nobody shoving anything down anyone's throat here, Alan. Essentially, I'm just asking people to have consideration that there is an option there. If they don't want to support the breweries charging exorbitant amounts of money for slightly flavoured water, there is an option there, and it will enhance the viability of the pub. That's all I'm saying. It's people's choice, and I think it's necessary that people should be made aware that that choice is available.
And I mean, look, as I said at the top, right, any and all ideas to kind of revive the pub industry, very much welcome, because as you've highlighted, they are vital social hubs, and perhaps not enough people think of them as such. Have you seen any reaction from the drinks industry? You know, you've said breweries should support a water charge as part of their responsible drinking message. Has the drinks industry responded in any way to this suggestion?
No, I haven't seen or heard of anything, but I'm only a very small cog in all these matters. I'm just one ex-councillor coming out with this, and it's not something that I haven't invented. This has been discussed as well over many months when it comes to trying to engage, get pubs revitalised and get them important again in the community.
Yeah, well, look, it is an interesting idea, one that, as you've touched on, some pubs are already rolling out. I'd be interested to see what the listeners think of this. Do you think that filtered tap water in pubs should there be a charge on it? Would you recognise that it is needed to keep pubs going as a viable concern, or would it be another reason that would deter you from going to the pub? Brian, thank you for coming on to take us through that, and mind yourself, and we look forward to chatting to you again. That's the former Ennis Councillor Brian Meaney with us on Morning Focus.